Welcome to the Good News Only radio show, where you only hear good things about good people. My name is Tanya MacIntyre, and I am passionate about bringing you positive media because I spent over 20 years in negative media as a broadcast journalist. And in those many years, I realized that the agenda of mainstream media is pretty clear. It is to perpetuate fear and doubt, or what I like to call now the FUD factor, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And perpetuating that FUD factor is the agenda of mainstream media. And when I say mainstream media these days, I'm referring to media that is delivered to us in a multitude of ways by news, advertising, social media, and basically just screens in general that are delivering all of these messages to us. I mean, think of it now. We're spending about a third of our lives in front of a screen, whether it's our phone or our tablet or our computer, our television. I mean, heck, I even saw a screen advertising to me while I was standing waiting for an elevator the other day. So most of us are now sitting or standing in front of some kind of media screen for about 8 hours a day on average. That's mind-boggling. So now my mission in life is to shine a spotlight on positive media, to highlight all the good stuff and all the good people in the world to help offset all the negativity that we're exposed to on a daily basis. The Good News Only was founded in 2010 to be a resource for people to watch, read, and listen to good things about good people. And as always, I have one of those good people with us for you to hear on this episode of the Good News Only radio show. Bette MacDonald is an award-winning actor, a highly acclaimed comic, and I'm very happy to say a fellow Cape Bretoner. Bette, welcome to the Good News Only.
Thank you, Tanya. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be talking to another Caper.
Oh, me too. God, I missed the ocean, Bette. If only I could make a living in Cape Breton, I'd be back there in a flash.
I know. I've heard that many times. It's pretty tough, and it's very hard to be away here, from here. Once you've lived by the ocean, it's in your blood, I think.
Oh, no question about it. I really, really miss it. And I've been in Ontario now since 1993. And, I've grown to love Ontario. It's been very good to us over the years. But, boy, there's just something, the Great Lakes just don't hold a candle to that Atlantic Ocean.
Oh. Well, you'll have to just come and visit, spend some time.
Absolutely. Well, all my friends are pretty much still there, Bette. And you managed to keep your career skyrocketing and staying in Cape Breton. How the heck did you manage that?
Well, 100 years ago when I I had a meeting with a team that were interested in managing my career, and they still do to this day, actually. And at that meeting, I told them that I wanted to be a Canadian actress. I wanted to work in our country and live in Cape Breton.
Wow.
And there was a bit of a pause, and they stared at me for a second and said, okay, all right. And so far, so good. So far, it's worked out very well, I'm happy to say.
Absolutely amazing. Well, kudos to you for pulling that off, because it's no easy feat. But, boy, you're just riding that wave. I'm so proud of you, Bette. Well done.
Oh, thank you very much. I feel very fortunate. I've been very lucky over the years, so yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Now, Bette, when I knew that you were going to come on the show, so of course the first thing I do is go on to Google and Google your name, and you have a listing in the great Wikipedia. How does that feel?
Yeah. I haven't seen it, to tell you the truth. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't go online and look for myself, I can tell you that for sure.
Well, it says Bette MacDonald is a Canadian comedian, actress, and writer, best known for her comedic television series Rito Hall. Like, where?
I don't think that's very accurate.
I don't think so either. So it goes on to say, a premier Atlantic Canadian comedian, she has been compared to Carol Burnett, John Candy, and Bette Midler. Described as a comic genius with impeccable timing. Oh, that's for sure. And also, the Halifax Herald described you as, to watch her is to be a deer caught in the headlights of comedic talent.
Wow.
How about that?
That's pretty amazing.
So, among all the credits that I was reading through, I mean, you were in the Bay Boy years ago, New Waterford Girl. You had your own show for a while, the Bet Show. You were in
That was really fun.
and and it lasted a while too. I mean, that's no easy feat to keep a comic show on Canadian television. And now you've got another one with Mr. D. You play Trudy Walsh, and you are going into your 6th season now?
Yes, our 6th season just aired on CBC. Yeah, we're pretty excited about that. We love doing this show.
Now, I've watched it.
Fun character to play.
And the star of that show is a fellow comedian.
Yes, Jerry D.
Jerry D.
Hilarious Jerry D.
Now, if anyone hasn't seen Mr. D, I have to say you have to be a genius comedic talent to play such a tool.
Yeah.
I mean, he does it so well.
He does it so well, and he's so unlike his character. He is so sweet. He's a family man. You know, he's got 3 little kids, beautiful little kids. Married a girl from Glace Bay, and he's very grounded. He's very sweet. He's nothing at all like this character. So you want to believe he's a good actor.
Fantastic. And, you know, when I was going through all your credits, Bet, from the great Wikipedia, I was surprised to find that there was absolutely no mention of the Cape Breton Summertime Review. Because, you know, that was really kind of the launching pad for your career, wasn't it?
It really was. You know, that was a great showcase for not just for me, but for many performers. Some of the Rankin family members, Natalie McMaster, a lot of musicians went through this, a couple of seasons of the Cape Breton Summertime Review. I'm surprised that it's not mentioned.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering
if I had written my Wikipedia page, it would read very differently, I think.
Well, I think you should get in there and do some editing, because I've heard countless people who are listed in Wikipedia, when I've actually read their listing, they said, "Oh my gosh, that's untrue. That's not accurate." And I'm thinking, well, who writes this stuff?
I don't know. I don't know who the Wikipedia master is, but yeah, there's a couple of things there that are not quite accurate.
Very good. Okay, so
shocking, I know.
Some editing in order there. So, Bet, I know you are superbly funny. You are off the cuff. You can ad-lib like nobody, and you're just so naturally funny. And I'm curious to know, when did you realize that you were funny and actually talented enough to make a living as an entertainer?
I'm not sure that I've ever figured that out, but I can tell you that in our family, everybody is funny. So I didn't grow up in my family thinking, well, I'm obviously the funniest person in my family, because I was not, and I am not. I have a brother who is much funnier than I am. And that was our normal. And when I was very young, I was still in single digits, I had the urge to perform for some reason, which was very odd, because this is not unusual to hear from performers, I know, but I was a very shy kid. So I had to find a voice somewhere, I guess, and that's where it was. And the women in the neighborhood used to come and watch the shows that I would produce. They were sweet, to do that. So it happened very early. The desire to perform happened at a very young age.
Interesting, because you said you were shy. So do you think it's because you were surrounded by comedy in your family? Like, how many siblings do you have?
I have 4 siblings. I have an older brother and sister and a younger brother and sister. I am smack dab in the middle.
Oh, the middle child. We could talk another hour for the psychology of that, Bet.
Yeah, we could.
So
it was very normal to be funny.
Excellent.
Our house.
Now,
funny parents. My parents both. My mother, who is almost 91.
Oh my gosh!
Hilarious. And my dad was also very, very funny.
Excellent. Now, you not only star in, but you're co-writing a smash hit. It's called 'Tis the Season, a holiday-themed show that began as a one-night stand 9 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer than that. So you're touring Nova Scotia and playing to packed houses. I know I was trying to get you interviewed over the holidays, and there was just no go because you were on the road.
Yes, this show, we're amazed by it. It was a one-night stand in Wolfville. We got a call from a theater in Wolfville asking us to come and do a Christmas-themed show, which for some reason, I have no idea why, but this had not occurred to us. We were so used to doing summer shows, and you tour in the summer because it's easier. But as we were driving home the next day, back to Cape Breton, we started talking about all the material around the holidays because the expectations are so high around the holidays and the things that people put themselves through. So we realized that there was a ton of material that we hadn't yet explored. And this year we just did our 10th tour.
Wow.
That show. I mean, the show changes, of course, every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different show each year, but around the holiday season theme.
You know, I was a big fan of Tim the Toolman Taylor on Home Improvement.
Oh, yes.
And they did a Christmas show that was hilarious. His older son had just turned 18, and he wanted to spend the Christmas holidays with his friends on a ski trip. And Tim said, no way. This is the holiday season, Christmas time. It's no time to be with people that you like and your friends. It's time to be with your family.
Yeah, that's pretty much... Yeah, that's pretty much true. We do deal with that particular theme in this show over and over again.
So, a lot of comedic material, no doubt. Now, you've also added best-selling author to your list of credits, Bette, with your book, Mary Morrison's Cape Breton Christmas. Tell us about that.
You tell that we really enjoy Christmas around here. I had a lot of material, and I wanted to do something with it. I had a lot of monologues and ideas, that really weren't suitable for the stage, so I needed another medium. So this idea popped up, and then I got to work on it. It was a wonderful experience because I love the solitary nature of writing. I like being alone in the office with music playing and you're just staring at the screen and hoping a good idea comes. I really enjoy that process. So, it was great. It was great. I was very happy to do it.
Now, did the character Mary Morrison, did it remind you of anyone? Was it a neighbor or a friend of the family? Where did she come from?
She came from both of those places. I used what I call the Frankenstein method. I used physical aspects from certain people, and then I would use personality traits from others, and I sort of cobbled together this character. But she's from the women that I saw when we went to church as kids, and people in the neighborhood. Her voice came from a man, a friend of my father's, that used to call the house, and when I would answer the phone, he would say, good, dear, good, dear. So I just got I got my speech from him, or her speech, I should say.
It's amazing because, Mary Morrison is just so lovable and funny, and she gets away with saying certain things that most people wouldn't get away with. I'm thinking specifically of the East Coast Music Awards, because you've hosted the East Coast Music Awards.
Yes.
In your character as Mary Morrison, and you talk about ECMA.
Oh, yes, ECMA. I don't know why that hadn't turned up before. ECMA does spell ECMA. But the thing with Mary is that when you get to be a certain age, it seems that you are able to say whatever you want. And people think it's kind of cute. But it was important to me that to do a character, a woman of a certain age who's not dismissed or ignored or seen as being cute rather than interesting or smart, funny. So that's kind of where she came from, because I found that the people in our community who had the most experience and the most knowledge were kind of the ones whose opinion we dismissed. I want to hear from someone who's been on the earth much longer than I have.
Absolutely.
I think they have something to say. And that's sort of where Mary came from. So now there's this old woman who has very strong opinions and is not afraid to share them. And I think that we know a lot more women like that. We just have to open our ears and eyes to see them.
She's a beautiful character. So I imagine there's going to be a sequel to the book, I hope.
I haven't thought about it much, but I think I'm going to get the urge to write again. In the meantime, I'm working on other projects, but I think that there will come a time when I'm going to want to do that again, because it was such an enjoyable process.
Excellent. What I love about you, Bette, is that you have very high integrity about what you will do and where you will live. I mean, you told your agent that, you want to remain in Canada, you want to remain in Cape Breton, and you're not interested in playing any roles in some big shows that might not have meaning for you. Yeah,
I don't want to stand on a stage or be on a screen and play a character that I don't really like. And I know that you don't always get a choice in these matters, and I certainly appreciate that. But if I can, if I'm able to choose what I want to do, if I want to choose things that are meaningful to me, then I'm certainly going to do that. And I'm very grateful that I can do that. It's not lost on me, that's for sure.
That's amazing. Now, Mr. D, the comic series that you're starring in now, is Trudy Walsh. That is being shot in Halifax. So you're living in Cape Breton. That's a 5-hour drive. I remember I used to do it almost every weekend. So what's that like for work-life balance? How do you manage that?
You'll be very happy to know that the 5-hour drive is now down to about 4.5.
Oh.
Yeah, luxury. It's much easier now. My husband, Maynard, who was a teacher for 40 years, is now, obviously he's much older than I am. He was, he loves when I say that, and it's not true, by the way. He's a little bit older than I am. He is now retired, so we have a little more freedom now. So we bounce back and forth between Cape Breton and Halifax. It's much easier now. When he was working, it was a little more difficult because we like living in the same place and we like working together. You make those things work because you just have to.
Excellent. Now, you and Maynard have been connected for a long time. Why did you finally decide to get married?
Gee, what year was that? I think it was 1994 or something. We had been friends for a long time. We worked together on the Cape Breton Summertime Review. And I remember I didn't think that I would ever get married. It wasn't high on my list of priorities at all. But at some point that changed. I'm very, very glad it did. I think we're going on 23, 22, or 20. I should probably know this. But over the years, we have forgotten our anniversary, both of us, thank goodness.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a testament to true love.
As many years later, here we are.
Well, I think it's important to
making soup.
start off as friends, I think is always a good idea.
Yes, we knew each other very, very well. And I think that is a great idea because then when you get to keep that friendship through your marriage, that's extremely important.
No kidding. I mean, I just celebrated 25 years with my guy, one of the best decisions I've made in my life. And not only do I still love him, but I really, really like him. That's so important.
Oh, it's absolutely essential. Congratulations.
Thank you.
No small feat.
No kidding. Congrats to you, too.
In our world. But isn't it everything to like the person?
Oh, it is everything, for sure.
Well, if you can, if there was some formula to make that, to have a good friendship in a marriage, there'd be a lot of happy people.
Absolutely. I think we should just maybe write a book on that, create a whole course on, the importance of friendship.
I don't know if I'm qualified for that. But.
So Maynard Morrison was a very popular teacher at Sydney Academy. He was the drama arts teacher.
Yes. Yes, he still has students who tell him what a difference he made. He was one of those teachers, and everyone was welcome in his class. Everyone. As a matter of fact, I know that the principals that he had over the years would come to him and say, we have this person who's not fitting in, who's having difficulties or has some issues, and his door was always open. And I love that about him. That's why he's it's my best friend, because he does stuff like that. And he had a big history of that in his school.
So
and
important.
He never forced kids to go on stage, or he let them find it themselves, but encouraged them, gave them confidence to try. And of course, once you can get in front of a group, or you discover some skill, behind a lighting board or a soundboard, that does remarkable things for you, and there's payoffs down the line for years and years to come.
Well, I'm not surprised to learn that Maynard is a teacher that students hold in high esteem, because he's just that kind of guy. I can imagine he'd be the kind of teacher who did change lives and make a difference, and that's so important. I remember one of my high school students, my geography high school student, I quit school in grade 10 because, when we're 15, we know everything there is to know.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
And she actually went out of her way to call me and invite me to dinner. And she didn't preach or give me any kind of, sermons, holier than thou or anything else. We just had like about an hour-long conversation about, life, love, the pursuit of happiness kind of thing.
Wow.
And that just one act of kindness and generosity changed my life, because I went back to school. And I'm pretty sure if she hadn't made that phone call, hadn't made that effort, God knows where I would have ended up. I mean, I just didn't like school. I wasn't academically inclined. And, she knew that about me. And she said, just because you're not academically inclined doesn't mean you're not smart, Tanya. She said,
I know.
There are other options now in high school. So when I did go back, I did accept that I wasn't academically inclined and I wasn't university material. So I took the business education program. Another great decision for me, because I learned business skills, how to type and do administrative work that kept me in good stead for my lifetime. So that was
excellent.
Mm-hmm, it was
so
really
that's one meeting with one person.
Yes.
Oh, and it's so valuable, that this woman knew, she saw something in you, and a lot of the times, we'll think of something like that girl really should stay in school, or she's got potential. It's one thing to think it, but when you pick up the phone, make the call, do something about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an extraordinary woman.
She changed my life for sure. And I think, undoubtedly, the most important job in the world is parenting, but secondly is teachers. Like, they have such an important role to play, and we have so many good teachers. So I'm really glad that you and Maynard are still together and still making magic together. It's awesome.
Well, we're making something together. Right now, today we're making turkey soup together.
Very good. I'm sure it's delicious. Now, Bet, I'm sure you'll agree with me, maybe you won't, but I think, the programming by media, for me at least, and why I'm so passionate about positive media now, is that these messages we're inundated with is that we're just never enough. We're never good enough, we're never slim enough, we're never smart enough, we're just never enough until we buy things to make us feel better or go to a doctor and get a pill to make us feel better. So I'm curious to know what kind of messages shaped you and your thought patterns while you were growing up.
Well, we weren't inundated when I was younger, and we were very, very fortunate. I have 3 nieces and a nephew now, and there are grandkids, and Maynard's children have children. And how many thousands, there's like a couple of thousand messages a day that girls get specifically that tell them they're not enough. And it's very important for big business to keep people fearful.
Mm-hmm.
And they're counting on it for their survival. And there's got I keep waiting for that pendulum to start swinging back, and I think it is. People are becoming more savvy. Young people are becoming more savvy, and I think they're learning. They're just beginning to learn to tune that stuff out. And it's extremely difficult when it comes at you that way. And because the images come so quickly, there's no time to digest it or sort out what's important and what isn't. Mm-hmm. So I think that they're just beginning to figure that out.
Yeah, and the peer pressure. I remember, even when I was going through grade school, the peer pressure was extraordinary. And you're right. I mean, I don't remember really having a lot of media messages thrown at me. I didn't watch a lot of television. I do remember that we could all say the McDonald's commercial about the Big Mac, right? 2 all-beef patties.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So there were certain things that stuck in the subconscious. But today, I mean, kids are just, they're always in front of a screen and they're always getting messages from social media comparing themselves. It's all about how many likes you have and stuff like that. So I don't know how I'd feel about going through life, excuse me, in this day and age.
And we don't know, we don't yet know how, we certainly are not keeping up with technology. And the law is not keeping up with technology. We haven't sorted out how to deal with technology when it turns against us, which it does. Yeah, it's quite...
very powerful stuff.
We live in interesting times, for sure.
That's for sure. So, Bette, a closing thought from you. What do you think creates a fulfilling life?
I've always believed, I figure it's good sense to listen to Albert Einstein. And he always, I read once that he said that the only thing you need to be happy is something to be enthusiastic about. And I believe that is absolutely true. I think you have to be interested in something. You have to be excited about something. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as it fires your imagination and your drive to do something, I think that's extremely important. Being able to do what you love. And family.
Family. Yeah, no kidding. Very important. Great message, Bette. What's going on with you? How can we stay connected to you and catch one of your beautiful comedic shows? When are you coming to Ontario?
Oh, my gosh. We talk about that so much. I know there are a lot of East Coast people in Ontario, and, of course, there are Ontario people in Ontario, and we want to see them all. One of these days, we will get our act together. We keep the more we talk about it, the closer we get to actually doing something. So hopefully sometime soon.
Perfect. We'll look forward to that. Bette MacDonald, thank you so much for being a featured guest on The Good News Only. I am honored to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tanya. It was my pleasure.
Awesome. Keep up the great work, Bette. Bette MacDonald, award-winning actor, highly acclaimed comic, and a fellow Cape Bretoner. You can stay connected with Bette on her website, Bette MacDonald, and that's with an M-A-C, BetteMacDonald.com. Thanks so much for listening to The Good News Only. I'm Tanya MacIntyre, and my wish for you is to take the diet that really works, a media fast. Don't watch, read, or listen to news, and see how much your life improves. As always, I want you to live well, laugh often, love always, and of course, stay positive.